anything pretty much.
Speaking of, one more thing to show you guys.
The track saw. Fuck.
Are you ready?
What do you got? No.
What?
Are you kidding me? I was expecting a Hilti or... No, it's a joke.
Scott Brown here. I've been building for 20 years now. Typically I review tools that help me build. Ryobi is never really up for consideration. So my friend Ray sent me a message saying, hey, you should review this. My reaction was not positive. But then I thought about it and I thought, that is being very snobby, Scott. You should be better than that. So I did it. I went to the store and I bought the Ryobi Track saw.
700?
Something like that, yeah.
And you bought it?
Yeah.
For fun?
Yeah.
Where are you?
The Ryobi Track saw. Look, it comes with a track. Now, I don't have any Ryobi batteries or chargers, so I got a deal where you get a free drill. So the Ryobi drill and battery and charger was $225, and the track saw with a couple of tracks and the bag and a clamp even, $563.55, and that's all New Zealand dollars, of course. Oh. You look really concerned.
18, why? No, but my question is, what happened?
Not all of us are carpenters who use tools day in, day out. So is this saw good if you're only using it a few times a year?
I need to clean the compressor now. No, it's just...
Oh, okay. Yeah. It looks alright. Right, Ryobi. Yeah, but it's not entirely fair to be against it because they're not aiming for professional builders.
Now, when you buy it, there is a positive, and that is they're pretty generous with the things that they give you. So also included is the rubber seal that goes on the track. The tracks already have them on, but I guess as a backup once these wear out. This is a clamp for the tracks, but it seems like there's only one. Usually you need one at each end. And a spare dust port, and it's got a different diameter. A blade! Oh! And a bag for the tracks. The tracks are very different to what a Makita, a Milwaukee, Festo, etc. is. So it's not going to be compatible with any of those things.
They're shorter too, right?
And shorter, yeah. Typically, for most brands of track saws, the standard track on a track saw is about 1400 long. To get a 1.4 meter track, they've cut it in half, and you combine the two to make your 1400 track.
You want 1400 because most sheets are 1200, and you want to start 100 mil before and then cut through and
get to
end
the
up
other
100
side.
mil past the other side.
So if you want to cut the length of a sheet with this Ryobi track saw, you need to combine 4 tracks. So you need to go out and buy 2 more.
Slides. Oh my gosh.
We just loosened it and now you can go like this. When you clamp it together, maybe if you put like a level along it, you can get it straight. But you shouldn't really have to think about that, right? When you're clamping things together, you should just be able to clamp it together, tighten it.
Is that time ultimately going to bother you so much that you think I should have just bought?
Just buy a Hikogi.
Just an unusual choice for a track. Maybe it was a shipping decision, you know, it's easier to send this in with the box that the saw came in. Or maybe they know that people at home are not going to build things out of big sheets of plywood. Perhaps the reason you want one of these is to build shelves or something.
To be fair, now, okay, jokes aside, to be fair, I see a lot of people on my trips, and some people that I know, friends of mine, that they use Ryobi tools. And the reason they use them is because they can afford them.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just for a one-off job.
I can see how this would benefit the DIY market.
Sticking with one battery platform is useful, and I think that is another strong point of the Ryobi. If you are a homeowner, you may already have these type of batteries. My first battery on my first ever drill looked like this. But the big difference with this one is that it's a lithium battery. So it's got that modern battery technology in this format, and the advantage of that is that it can fit all the old tools. So this track saw and the batteries are compatible with all their other tools, which would be pretty appealing if you have a few of them.
Okay.
So durability, a lot of plastic here. This base here is plastic, as you can see, which isn't great.
So that's different. It'll wear out fast.
A plastic base, that's a first, right?
It's also quite narrow, so stability could be an issue long term. I see that wider base on the Makita there. Things like this. This here is the anti-tip function, and I mean, it's literally just a screw holding down a little plate. But it's kind of weird, like we couldn't quite work out how to operate it.
You're moving the knob back and forth and then tightening it in the position.
Yeah, and then that little bit there is meant to stop it tipping. I don't know about that, I mean, maybe I'm not using it correctly, but the tolerances on these dials seem more loose. Does this ever tighten? The same is true with the depth gauge, and this is pretty average. It seems to be relying on the little indentation on the plastic here, which I'm sure won't last forever. It is what it is. Also, this thing is fixed, which means when you put the hose in there for a vacuum, you can't turn the hose away from the saw and in different directions to suit your cut. Most track saws have articulating hose attachments. Everything's a little bit inexact. This is the kind of base that we're used to. See how solid that is versus a plastic base? And then the components in here that are used to clamp to the track a bit better, they're not a part of the base. They can be taken out and replaced. So this is what we're used to. You know, all these, like, just look at all this, like, you do that, and then you know, it's just everything smooth, functions better.
But how much does that cost?
Good question. Before we continue discussing this cordless track saw, a little word from the people that helped me buy it. Just to be clear, Squarespace didn't know that I was going to buy a track saw with the money, but Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can build your online presence and run your business. You can build a website without knowing code, you can get portfolios and galleries that make your site look professional because it's all built into their beautiful templates. There are hundreds of templates, by the way. You don't have to settle with one. You can scroll through until you see something that matches your brand, whether your brand is services or an e-commerce site. The e-commerce functionality is built into Squarespace. All the functions are built into the platform, including your own custom domain name. You can do that within the Squarespace platform. And if you don't believe me, you can also get a free trial. So before you know it, you could have a website set up, ready to go. And then once you're ready to launch it, head over to squarespace.com/Scott Brown Carpentry, and you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Back to the review.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Oh, with a new blade.
And that's notorious for chipping, that plywood. How much of a clean cut will we get, and will it be straight? And let's also find out what it's like with the vacuum. I think it needs a battery. 16.
16, okay, I'll put it on 20.
It's pretty clean on the offcut.
Yeah, so that's the top, the scrap side.
Yep. The underside.
I would be very happy with it.
Alright, what are we dealing with? Ryobi, Makita. They're both a bit gappy, aren't they?
It feels like the guide moved after the scribe cut was made.
Yeah, because that's got a big gap compared to this, but this has an uneven gap. It's tight there and it's gappy there.
Yeah.
Should we flip them around and see what the back side looks like? Oh, Makita. It's the back side of the Makita cut.
Yeah.
In New Zealand, that's the price. You have to buy a battery separately if you don't have one already. To do the same on Makita, you get one track and a box. You spend that much. So you save over $400 by going with Ryobi.
That's a significant price difference. Yeah. So $500 difference. Is this $500 better?
Well, they say that Ryobi is much better these days because it lasts longer than a day.
You're not really answering my questions, guys. The question was, is it a bad tool or are you just being snobs?
I don't think this would hold up, but if you are using it once or twice a year...
If you only worked with a track saw each long weekend,
that's the...
Are those loose knobs gonna be that much of a problem for you?
The question is, would you buy a $600 new Ryobi or would you buy a $600 second-hand Makita? Because that's another choice you can make, right?
Second-hand.
Yeah.
Second-hand Makita for sure, out of those two. Because of the way they built the Ryobi, I would guess that an old Makita is still a better option than the new Ryobi. Now, one more point before we conclude and discuss whether you should buy it or not. Even though this is much cheaper, I think we're paying a premium here for this. They don't have a corded one.
Ah.
They just have a cordless. They jump from 0 to cordless.
Yeah, right.
You're paying $600 for technology that's only just recently made it to the masses, right? Yep. Battery track saws.
Being a builder, I do like quite nice tools, so probably not. Well-made tools, sorry.
No.
So you're implying that it's not well made?
Well, it feels a bit cheap.
It's not it's not for me, definitely. It just feels cheap.
Yeah, I would never buy this. Yeah. Well, I did.
Oh, you
I
did?
I would never buy this for like work.
Is it that bad? Or are builders just snobs?
Yeah, we're so used to a certain level of tool, and then this one comes along and it's different in many ways, so it's hard to be objective because we would never buy this. Yep. Ray wouldn't buy it, I wouldn't buy it, so it's hard to go, oh, you should buy it, or you shouldn't buy it, you know? If you are a homeowner and you want a track saw, I don't know if I can recommend that one just because of the durability, the longevity. It's all about getting machine cuts and high accuracy out of a handheld tool. And I don't feel that confident with that one. But that is just what me and a few builders down here in little old New Zealand think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe you've had a good experience with the saw. Maybe you own it. Maybe you have points that I did not consider. Let me know below, and I'll see you in the next exciting episode. You're struggling with this, aren't you, Gaston?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I told him, hey, I've got this really cool track saw to show you. I won't tell you what brand it is. And he was like, oh, is it going to be the Hilti, the Milwaukee? And then he saw I made a Milwaukee video. He's like, oh, it's not that. What could it be? Then I showed him the Ryobi.
Can you get the money back?
I just noticed now that track alignment button here.
Hi, Ray.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Let's see what Koki thinks about it.
She doesn't like the joint.
No, she doesn't like the joint.
The angle.
She doesn't like the saw.
No, she's gone.
Nah, she's gone.
And it also makes sense because, you know, if your grandma needs a tool, and this is a bit of the home DIY brand, so like us. Sorry.
Dust?
No, I'm just getting a bit emotional.
You get so...
Ryobi, strong stuff.
That,
You know what I also just noticed?
Yeah.
How uncomfortable we are talking about Ryobi. I mean, where does that come from? It took a long time to be able to sit here today and with a straight face say like, okay, this is a good thing.